Settle down, settle down. In a world where relationships and connections shape who we are, think of them as mentors, maybe, who gives us connections, who shape who we are, our mentors. Now, raise your hand if you think you may have a mentor. Now, those who didn't raise your hand, you may be a little bit confused. What is a mentor? Somebody who guides you, somebody who shapes who you are. Think of them as construction workers. Every single block and connection they make with you shape who you are in the future. We have many, many mentors in our lives. Think of them. Teachers, friends, coaches. There's so many of them. So there is a study that they made. Are connections really important? Well, it showed that 80% of Ivy students had good connections with their parents. Now, here I am today. I brought up a specific mentor, one who you would never think of once you go overshadowed. There are coaches. I'm specifically talking athlete sports coaches. Hi, my name is Mahmoud Ahmed to be exact, and I'm a student athlete. I play volleyball, and I spent countless years of my life playing this sport. I put so many hours into it, and a question I've asked many people who've watched sports are, who do you think the most important people are? Would you say they're the players? And that's most the answer. Every single person says that the players are the ones who define the outcome of the game. But I find that completely false. You know, they may affect the game, they may score the game winner. But why does that really matter in the end if the coach is never given credit? Coaches who make plays on a backboard are one in a dozen. Yes, that is true. And those connections aren't only in the game. They don't only affect us in the game, but they affect us overall. And here I am to talk about my connections with two, actually. But let's get into the first one. Now, mentors guide who we are in our lives. We understand that, but not all mentors are good. And this one I had wasn't a good coach. Now, I remember I wanted to play volleyball. So I went, and volleyball's expensive. So I decided, hey, I'm going to go work all summer. I'm going to go make the money. And I did. I went to go work. I worked extra hours. I went to the gym afterwards, and I'd get home very, very late. My mom would barely see me, and she's in the crowd. You can ask her. Now, after all that dedication, I was so ready. I was so excited to go. I was like, yes, it's finally my time. I can go play. But I go to the tryouts. I went to 3 tryouts, and I got 2 offers. But there was one team I specifically wanted to play for. Now, those 2 offers, they were only 48-hour offers, and the next tryout was 3 days away. I decided, and it may be my own fault for my ego, but I decided that I'm going to decline those 2 offers, and I'm going to go for what I should really go for. Now, everybody told me I had a good shot at making it. I could really do it. And all the coaches and players loved me. So I was thinking, yes, this is my chance. I've finally done it. And at the end of that final tryout, it wasn't what I was expecting. It wasn't a yes. It was no. No? What do you mean no? I didn't do bad. And they told me I didn't do bad. They told me I did really, really good. But at that final tryout, there was a player who I wasn't expecting. He played the exact same position as me, and he's never been to any of the tryouts before. Now, that player, he's 6'4". That coach told me, sorry, man. He didn't say you're bad. He didn't say anything like that. He said, you're not tall enough. Now, not tall enough, I can't affect that. And you said I did really good. He said, you could teach skill. You can't teach height. What does that mean? So throughout that, I was really mad. I had this really, really bad connection, associating coaches with height, and that all they really wanted was somebody who's really tall and could do all that. So I got mad, and I decided, hey, I'm going to practice on my own. And sure, I got better. I played on my own, and I played with people, and I got better, yeah. But the things they teach, the values they teach in our lives, I wasn't learning any of that. I was growing physically, but I wasn't growing mentally. So here I am to ask again, who are the most important people in our lives? And I would argue one of them was my coach. He really shaped who I was. And when I first met him, I didn't like him. That connection I made previously with the other coach made me think, hey, all these guys, they're lame, they suck. I don't like any of them. But that's not in all honesty. Like, at first I didn't like him, but he really put in an effort to connect with us. He made an effort to connect with me. Why did he connect with me? I failed at some point. And through that, I kept associating failing with failure. Now, failing isn't failure. If you're a failure, you're somebody who failed and decided to never get back up. Now, through that whole season, I believed, hey, I failed once, that makes me a failure. But he taught me I wasn't a failure, and I remember the exact time he taught me I wasn't a failure. So if you watch some of the times, or some of the games in my earlier season, you'd see every time I failed or messed up, I would take my hands, put them on my head, and I'd run around, and I'd say things that aren't appropriate for this TED Talk. And through that, it wasn't a bad look on me. It was a bad look on me. It wasn't a good look. And I was getting frustrated over little small things, which I could have learned from. And the lesson he taught me, he didn't teach me it through words. He taught me it through his actions. And the way he taught me was hilarious. I remember at a tournament sulking one time because I made a really bad play. Now, he let me cool off, and the next game, instead of teaching me anything or telling me anything, he benched me. And I was mad. Why'd I get benched? Oh, I failed again. That makes me a failure. But no, the next game, he didn't bench me again. I looked at him. He wrote my number on the paper. Number 15. Why am I on there? I failed at one point. That hasn't changed anything. He looked at me, smiled, and said, give him hell. Now, through that, after the game, I learned. What did I learn? That you can fail. Failing's okay. Failure is a part of the game, and failing is a part of life. I learned it's okay to learn. You can learn from failure. You want to fail. Every time you do something, you at least want to fail once. And why did I learn that? I learned it because my coach spent the time out of his day to connect with me. And I know many coaches don't do that, but the coaches who do are worth a million. And he don't only teach me that. They taught me so many other lessons. They taught me discipline. They taught me, it's okay to fail. You have to be disciplined. You have to do the hard things before you can do the fun things. And I'm going to be honest. If it wasn't for those lessons that he gave me, I wouldn't be up here today. If I'm going to be honest, I'm nervous to be up here because I see so many other people I know and so many of my friends who are there in the front crowd here to support me. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't sign up. I would stay home right now, and I'd be playing a video game probably. So then I ask you again, you guys have mentors, right? Raise your hand if you do. And those of you who didn't raise your hands, you guys are liars. It's not even funny how many things these coaches could teach me or have taught me. Before this, I used so many of those lessons and completely denied them. I didn't ever use them. But when I learned them, my life has drastically improved. If you looked at my math mark, oh, dear God, it's horrendous. But I spent my time failing with my mom. I love you, Mom. With my mom. And sure, my math mark still wasn't great, but it's improved from the last year. So before I, end off this TED Talk, I want to end you guys with a quote. Coaches who can outline plays on a backboard are 1 in a dozen. Those who could get into players' hearts win championships. Now, I want to thank you guys all for listening. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for supporting me. And thank the man who taught me, Mr. Reardon. in the back over there for letting me be up here. Thank you for listening.